Alright guys, thank you very much for joining my stream. So this time I'm gonna do Bannerlord. So you might know me usually doing a lot of U-boat streaming and now and then a bit of AZ, and so this is my background favorite. It is happening, yeah. Hey Tukiel, nice to have you in. Yeah, Bannerlord is my long-term favorite, but I never much streamed it. And yeah, so now, after playing this game for, I don't know, 15 years, including the part 1, Mountain Blade, I decided to share a whole campaign with you. So my plan is to do an open world sandbox game in the Mercenary style. So I don't want to go for kings, for ruling kingdoms and do all that management stuff starting from the mid game. But I really want to have things happen on the battlefield. So let's start something new. With sandbox. Of course, like always, the question arises which tribe we would like to choose.
For 500 years, the Calradian Empire dominated.
Yeah, let's stop that one. I can give you the background sooner or later. So this is the different cultures that we can choose. Interesting thing is that each of these cultures represents one kingdom except the empire. The empire, actually, there are 3 different kingdoms, which all come downstream from the empire culture. But the others are all single kingdoms. Empire is 3 kingdoms. So you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kingdoms in the realm, and we are there. Yeah, Vlandians. Yeah, how would you know actually to kill? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play the Vlandians. They are somehow my favorites, and I think I'm gonna do them also in this game. So good point. Each of these cultures has its own special pros and cons. I won't go through all of them, but let's look at the Vlandians. They are the descendants of adventurers from the west who lived under the empire for centuries before forming an independent kingdom. With the decline of imperial authority, they have evolved into a well-organized feudal society led by a caste of warlike nobles. And yeah, I think in the beginning we should be one of them. Although we are a very, very tiny, minor, not at all important noble, but we are one of them, who prefer to fight with spears and lances on horseback. So 5% more renown from battles, we will see what that means. 15% more income while serving as a mercenary. So this fits well to the gameplay that I have in the back of my mind. Yeah, the cavalry, yeah. But I think the cavalry of the Kutsai and Azarai is also pretty alright. But yeah, kind of they are just multi-purpose, very flexible. I pretty much like the cavalry and the whole all the types of soldiers that you get, because this is one nice feature of the game. Each of these cultures features different types of units for their armies. There is one complete unit tree for each of these cultures, so this makes the game also very, very like gives it a lot of depth, to put it like that. 10% of production bonus to villages that are bound to castles. Okay, and the recruiting lords to armies costs 20% more influence. Yeah, let's see. As long as we are just mercenaries, we would not recruit other lords for armies. Let's carry on. So we want to be Vlandians. Okay, this guy. Yeah, Genghis Khan, horseback blood. Exactly, yes. That's... Yeah, well, by the way, this is the nice thing about this game. The game takes place in a kind of, yeah, fiction world, but all the mechanics are real, so there is just medieval reality. I think you could put this happen to the, say, 9th or 10th century, and all the cultures are kind of, they have their equivalent in our history. And the Vlandians, maybe you could put Anglo-Saxons would maybe be the equivalent to the Vlandians that we chose right now. There is no magic, just medieval fighting. Now let's see, what should our character look like? I don't want to do individual character building. What about that guy? Maybe if we modify him a bit. I don't like the scars in the face, or well-being. Yes. Medium weight. Let him be just average in size. Come on, no scars. And do I like the beard? Facial hair. Maybe I better like it like that. And the rest is alright. Let's take the guy just like he is there. So this is us from now on. Of course, we could do detailed character modulation, character modification, but yeah, I usually don't have the patience for that, and I think that guy is alright. Yeah, to kill. You're right. You're actually right. So these fictional worlds, they often just help themselves in the real history. Yeah. And in this game, they do it very obviously. So it's no kind of copy pasting or something, but they really intend to give us this feeling of the different tribes, like it was in real human history. And they just put it into a fictional setting, so yeah, for the sake of the gameplay. I think this game wouldn't work if you would have put it onto a real world map. Yeah, the Nords, they're actually new in the game since the update. Since the naval update that the game got. And yeah, it's still great. Actually, I have been playing the game a lot since the update, or at least a bit, but I have to admit that I never did much of naval combat. Yeah, now, well, we want to be ahead of a mercenary band, so I would like to put some emphasis on riding and sword fighting. Let's see. So this guy would have some experience in riding. So I can now choose the personality. You were born into a family of... I don't want to have the crossbow. Well, it's alright when you have the skill, but my priority would be bows. Smithing is good. Yeah, I think I would just choose this one, which gives me an additional point here in the social ability, and one particularly with riding. And yeah, okay, pole arm is also not bad to have. Next, as a child, you were noted for your leadership skills, which would give me tactics and yeah, leadership itself. You're good with two-handed swords. Yeah, that's not quite what I would focus on. Two-handed and throwing. But this looks good. Being good in running is not bad. And being good with the bows, yeah, let's take that one. And it also gives us an additional point with the control. Take that one. Like all village children, you helped out in the fields. You also herded the sheep. Oh no, throwing and running, not my major focus, I would say. Worked in the village smithy. Yeah, being a good smith is always helpful, because you can earn a lot of money with smithing in the game. Two-handed. Secondary. Let's see what else we can get. Smithing and engineering. Engineering you need to, if you want to build how do you call it? Now I'm missing the word. If you lay siege to a town, siege engines, that's the word, right? To build siege engines and things, but that's not my focus, so I will not focus in this campaign to siege and expand towards a kingdom having many cities and castles, but I want to be some kind of a mercenary and gain fame like that. You gathered herbs in the wild. Okay, scouting is alright. Medicine, to have medicine is quite good. This would give me more experience with the bow. But I think at that point I would like to take this one, because it's good to have a high medical skill. This increases the probability that your troops only get injured and not killed, which is very important. Because your troops continue leveling up, and when a high experienced troop dies, it's pretty bad, so it's always good if they just get injured. And this is what the medical skill is good for. Scouting is good to detect enemies, so let's take that. As a youngster, growing up in Calradia, war was never too far away. You served as Baron's groom. So charm is also important to have. Charm and tactics, yeah, that could be alright. But it becomes a bit uneven, because now I'm in social 4 already. Let's check. You trained with the cavalry. Would make me a better rider and better polearm fighter. And what do we have here? Engineer and crossbow. We don't need that. Sword fighting and polearm. Yeah, that might be helpful. Maybe we're gonna take that. Yeah, I wouldn't put much focus on the marine skills yet. But yeah, let's take that one. Which makes us good in sword fighting and gives us an additional skill or level in vigor and some experience as a mariner. Yeah, Tukiel, you think that smithing gives you too much money? So I understand your comment as kind of a criticism towards the gameplay, right? Or do you mean that it doesn't work, that it's buggy? Because I wouldn't say that it's buggy. I think it works fine. It's just like you could discuss that maybe you earn just too much money with it later in the game. And so when you are a good smith, you'll never run out of money. Before you set out for a life of adventure, your biggest achievement was you defeated an enemy in battle, which would give us 200 and 100 additional skill. You led a successful manhunt, gives us a bit of leadership and a bit of tactics, which is not bad to have. You invested some money in land, being a trader, being a smith. Yeah, this gives us a bit of intelligence, which is good. Not this one. Yeah, let's do this one here. You invested some money in land because this would raise our intelligence aptitude a bit, and yeah, it gives us some smithing and some trading skills, which is alright. Your character started off on the adventuring path at the age of 20. Yeah, let's be very young. Hi, Nash. Nice to have you in. So you think Warband is better than Bannerlord? So Warband was the first one, right? I am not sure about the names. So Warband was Mount and Blade 1, right? So I'm just a bit confused, but I better like Bannerlord, to be honest. But well, it's a decent way of judging it. I would be interested in why you would say that Warband is better in your eyes than Bannerlord. Yeah, but you can't. To kill. At least when you play in the high difficulty levels, you can't hold hundreds of enemy armies with just one sword. That just doesn't work. Or could you actually craft a sword, which is so good finally? Maybe I never did that. Maybe I never did that. At the moment we don't have a bow. That's not good. Don't like the equipment that we start with, but that's how it is. So let's give us a flag like that. And next, how would you call our family? Let's call them Del Slocum. Name, Josh. And here we are. Now, difficulties. Freebooter, warrior, Bannerlord. So I put all that to maximum. Friendly troops receive damage. Realistic. Recruitment difficulty, realistic. Map movement speed, realistic. Persuasion difficulty, realistic. Combat AI, challenging, clan member, battle death chance, realistic, hero battle death chance, enable battle death for all heroes. That's what I want to do. Stealth and disguise difficulty, normal, veteran, challenging. Let's put it to veteran because I never did actually did this gameplay since the update. I don't know what it is like, if it's working. Yes, that's right, Turkiel. I agree. That's a little bit overdone. So if you are an experienced weaponsmith, you can earn so much money that it becomes a bit unrealistic. Yeah. So auto-allocate clan member perks? No. And we are not doing Iron Man mode. I was actually considering it, but I finally decided not to do because, well, when you play the game for hours and hours and weeks and months, and then just something stupid happens, and you just have to start anew. So I will be very strict. So I wouldn't reload when one of my company, one of my heroes dies. I wouldn't reload when I lose a battle. I wouldn't reload when things were not just going lucky for me. I wouldn't reload when I lose tournaments. But I want to have it open to reload when, well, shit hits the fan and just something happens that, yeah, I guess lets everything run down the drain. And so I want to have that option finally. Maybe we could even discuss then, you guys in the stream and me, whether to reload or not. Yeah, to Kirill, exactly. It's about fun and not, we are not doing a marathon here. Yep. Hi, Islay, nice to have you in. Okay, you're still playing Diablo. Nice, yep. Yeah, great to know that you're there. So, I think, yeah, so only thing that we don't max out now is the stealth gameplay, because I never dived into it. I don't want to kind of spoil the whole game because I make this too challenging. Let's go for veteran and see what it means. And now Iron Man. Call of the Oceans. Yeah. Often when we are growing up, should we... whatever, let's just skip that. And see what adventures... By the way, guys, whenever I start with a new game streaming, I'm never quite sure about the loadout between game sound and my voice sound. Is it alright? So that would be very, very kind if you would just give me a brief feedback in the chat, whether you say the game sound is maybe too noisy in comparison to my voice, or so making my voice too low, or the other way around. Yeah, okay, alright. So, great that you dropped in. See ya, Turkey. Alright, Johnny Bonnie, thanks for the feedback. If it's fine, yeah, okay, so I'll go with that loadout. And yeah, by the way, thanks for joining the chat and thanks for watching. And thanks to 2KL for following me. If you're still there, maybe you're already dropped out, but thanks a lot for that one. So I need to have one eye on my bitrate, because I'm doing a dual stream. I'm streaming towards Twitch and at the same time towards YouTube, and a few months ago I had quite some stability problems with that. Or maybe I should better say my Streamlabs desktop had problems, because it pretty much looked like their servers couldn't handle it. And now after a few months, now I retry. Maybe they could kind of fix that problem. And I already yesterday afternoon I did a double stream, multi-stream, and now again. And at the moment the bitrate looks pretty stable. So fingers crossed that it actually does work like that. Now here we are. That's the map. So not quite sure. I think many of you watchers know the game, but let me briefly do some remarks. So here you see the different kingdoms. Kingdom is not equal to, not generally equal to culture, but usually is. So except for the violet ones. The violet ones, they are all empire cultures, but 3 different empires. So it's what is it? Western, Southern, and Northern Empire. So the old empire split into 3. This is like it was with the Romans. So the empire is actually like the Romans, and the Romans back then, they split into West and East Empire, and this they picked up here and made 3 out of them. And yeah, the rest is the other cultures or kingdoms, like they're distributed. And on the map there is cities, and there is castles, and there is villages. So each village belongs to a castle or to a city, and yeah, that's roughly it. And in the beginning we are just one single minor noble. We have no city, we have no castle, we even don't have any army. We are just on our own. And that's us. We already know these statistics. I won't go too deep into it. I commented on it a bit before. But what we can still do is we can level up. We have 1 attribute point and 8 focus points. So let's see, there is just 1 attribute point which is not leveled up to 3. And so let's put this up. Cunning. Now, what do we have? Let's now level up. Steward is mainly responsible for how many people we can actually command. So at the moment we could just command a few guys, and the better our stewardship skill is, the larger our army can actually be. So let's give this 1. And well, generally you need these skill points. You actually level up, or you acquire skills in certain of these categories by doing it. But when you don't have proper focus points, at one point learning becomes slower and slower and stops. So you always need to be sure that you have sufficient focus points. So now this is our learning threshold, and now whenever we kind of do stewardship things, we learn, gain experience, but it will stop when we reach this threshold. And then at latest, then we need a new focus point. And you see here the learning rate at the moment is 4. If I would put 1 more focus point onto stewardship, the learning rate would further increase. So the more focus points you put to the different skills here, the faster you gain experience with it. So stewardship, charm we need, leadership, tactics. Let's see that we have at least one. Engineering, I don't know. Yeah, for throwing. Roguery, crossbow as well. In tournaments we might want to use a crossbow, so now we have at least one focus point in every aptitude, I think, not in engineering. Let's see if we need engineering later. So that's it for now. Inventory, at the moment, yeah, we are not very well equipped. We just have this hood to protect our collar. We have Marina's leather gambesson. We have no gloves, we have shoes, and we have no helmet. And we have a makeshift kite shield, very simple sword, and a few javelins. So we don't dive into that right now, but there is also, well, this is your combat equipment and this is your civil equipment. If you run into a fight in a town, get ambushed, you would only have this civil equipment. And then there is this sneaky equipment. When you do sneaky missions, which I never did up to now, that came with the update, and don't ask me how this works. Maybe we're going to try it out within the scope of this playthrough. So we have a bit of grain with us, but at the moment yeah, in the past it was like if you don't have any soldiers, you don't need grain. So in the past it was like you wouldn't need grain, you wouldn't eat by yourself, but it seems like they've changed it. So this one sack of grain would keep us nourished for 20 days. So, and it should become 10 days if I hire one soldier. That's the idea. So here we go. At least we ride on horseback, but we don't have a bow. That's a pity. Okay, we gained a level right in the beginning. And there it is. So this is other warlords. And this is so great about this game. It's a complete open world, and there is something like 100 other warlords living in this open world, and they move and rove, and they also learn and level up and fight. And all this is actually done in the background. This is why this game consumes a lot of CPU power, because all the time when it's going on in real time, there is the calculation going in the background, what is going on all over the world, and this really works. I don't know if you heard of that discussion in the game Stalker 2, where they had this, what they call, I think, a game or something, where they pretended, the developers pretended that they had this kind of background going on for all the characters on the map, even if they're far out of range. And this didn't work, and it actually did crush the computer capabilities and the processor capabilities, so they had to take it out just before release, and they never really put it in again. So what the Stalker 2 programmers didn't achieve, these guys here do perfectly. So all these Bannerlords are characters, and they all have the same kind of settings like we have, and they develop further and so on. And yeah, they might be friends or they might become enemies. And so one day we might face them on the battlefield. Or they might fight on our own side. So we gain one more focus point. right now, what is the most important thing that I would like to promote? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Both. So see, from 4 the learning rate went up to 5.25. So whenever we fire a bow now, we have very high experience gain, relatively high experience gain from that. Enter the city. So in the city you can do different things, and there is also here personalities. So these are not the nobles that are roving the world, but they are locals here, like wool weaver, caravaner, tanner, and these are gang leaders in the town. So there might be an arena, but there is no tournament going on at the moment. If it would, we would participate. And let's give it a save right away. Save as. Yeah, we can visit the Terran district, and for example here, Achita, the Shield Maiden, she's an adventurer and we could hire her. We could also hire one mercenary, but that's just too expensive, I wouldn't do that. Good thing is that these guys, when you hire them, the regular troops here, they are already relatively experienced. So you have two types of troops. You have heroes. So you could hire adventurers to become one of your heroes, one of your companions, and you have ordinary soldiers. So the mechanics are a bit different. The heroes, they just level up like you. They are individuals with a detailed screen like that, and the ordinary troops, they just accumulate general experience, and when they reach a threshold they jump into the next level in the troop tree. So an easier model actually. Could recruit troops here. 7 troops available at the moment, just recruits, so they are not very strong. But let me show you something. So this is the recruit, and then when they level up you can make decisions. Let them be a crossbowman or a footman, and then follow a leveling up tree. Whenever they have enough experience you can let them level up. Now here we can trade. Yeah, at the beginning of a campaign you could make good money with trading, but for now I think I prefer to do a bit of fighting. Yeah, we want to become a mercenary, so we can start to roam around and hunt for bandit groups. This is a good thing to do in the beginning. So we would not get involved. We wouldn't want to get involved now into the big wars of the kingdoms, but we could just roam and hunt for roving bandits. This is the smithy, we don't need it right now. And that's it. Yeah, maybe let me show you this, which is pretty nice. You can take a walk through the town center. Yeah, you can reach all the important sides of the town, also in the menu, in the user interface, so you don't have to do this walking here all the time, but it's nice kind of to show you the beautiful details. I quite like it. Yeah, somebody could claim that it's still not like up-to-date high-end graphics, but I pretty much like the atmosphere that you get from it. And it's beautiful. Can even get up here. Yeah, that's it. We can also go to the keep, but not right now. We are so unimportant that nobody would let us into the keep. Except we pay a bribe, which I don't want to pay right now. So what? So, boop. Let's check. You can't even buy bows around here. Yeah, here, this Horseman Kite Shield. This is a good one. Ah. My favorite shield isn't there. So for now, we just have 1,000 pieces of gold for a start, and we have to be very careful in spending it on the right things. So we might need a bit more food. Wow, the grain is really, yeah, well, no, not so expensive. So let's go like that. And see, we already have overburdened ourselves now. So 40 weight and inventory capacity is only 30. So in principle, we need a horse. Let's just get 1 barrel of olives with us. And that's fine. No, the question is, would I start roaming on my own or would I pick up a few soldiers? Yeah, let's pick up and recruit 1. Recruiting a guy costs how much? Let's see, 20 bucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be 100 bucks. Let's take all of them. So now we have 7 soldiers in our band, and our food only lasts now for 5 days. So maybe we should consider buying a bit of food. A bit more food. And yeah, the horses here are pretty expensive. So yeah, the foot soldiers are pretty slow on the map, on the world map. And now that we have 7 foot soldiers, if I would buy 7 horses, I could put each of the foot soldiers onto a horse while we are marching, and that would make us much faster, but I don't have the money for something like that at the moment. So let's just go on like that. Here, now we pay a wage of 14 gold pieces per day. And let's see if we find some roaming bandit bands which we could fight, actually. Let's see. Let's travel for Jaculan, the next town there. Let's pay a visit to Kaliak, that little village, and see what's going on there. So these are the important or powerful people in the town. I mean, in the village. We could recruit troops. shall we? So then we are 10, which is alright. Making our daily wages sum up to 18 gold pieces. We could also buy products here, and the grain is much more expensive. So what you could see is that these guys are... What is this? I don't even know what this symbol means. However, let's go for the next village. They are actually having pigs. We could recruit troops here as well. Let's get one more. So we have 10 troops now and 1 commander. Products that we get here, a hawk, yeah. The grain is even more expensive. The hawk should be cheap because they are actually producing it here, but at the moment I don't dare to invest money into trade without knowing the prices. So there is 12 looters. Okay, save. Let's give it a save as a new game so that we conserve that first save game to be the start of the whole campaign. Okay, we lost eyes because it was, night was falling, and so our vision range was considerably reducing. Now we go for the guy. So there are 12 looters and we are 11, so me and 10 infantry recruits. So here we are. I could throw the javelin, so maybe I would ambush them with the javelin for a start to distract them from my foot soldiers and maybe kill 1 or 2 of them. Okay, they are throwing stones at me, or yeah, okay, that one has a sling, so luckily I have the shield. The sling is a pretty tough thing. Oh yeah, that was a miss, so I just have a few javelins. Okay, so I got hit before I could throw. Now let's order the troops to charge. Okay, that was a hit, but I didn't kill him. I have 1 javelin left. Let's see now how my troops are going to perform. Let's draw the sword. Get some hits. Not too bad. Okay, I killed that one with that strike. Okay, we won. There is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of my men are still standing. So 4 will kill or die, we will see. Hey, Receptacle, nice to have you in. Yeah, great to see you. Perfectly fine if you just lurk, it's great to know that you're there. Now. So the looters, 7 were killed, 5 were injured. So it might be that we take them as prisoners, we will see. And what for us? So I gained quite some experience in sword fighting, in tactics, in horse riding and in throwing the javelin.
We've been blessed.
And 3 of my troops are gonna level up,
Look at them run.
and 3 died and 1 was injured. That's it. So we have 4 looters as prisoners, and now you see 3 of my Vlandian recruits can level up, and I can make them Vlandian footmen, which fight a bit better than the recruits, or crossbowmen. So what I'm gonna do is at the moment, let's do it like that. I always keep a little bit of order here to sort them. So Vlandian footman, Vlandian recruit, and 1 crossbowman I do have right now. And we will get some loot, some fish, and equipment. Let's get all that equipment and see whether we sell it or if we can put it on by ourselves. Now that we are here, come on, let's give it a save. In very rare occasions, the game actually crashes when you enter a tournament. And in even more rare incidents, it crashes when you enter the smithy. And I don't know if you would... This is also one reason why I wouldn't play Iron Man, because I don't know what happens with you and your save game when the game crashes like that. We could recruit... let's get 1 more guy. The problem is that the more experienced your troops are, the more you have to pay them. So now we have a smaller number of troops, but we have to pay more, like 19 by now. This is because these 3 guys which we did level up, they now get a bit more money per day. Products, well, let's just carry on. Draculan patrol. Now we are 10 soldiers and 1 commander again, which is me. Here we... Sometimes you just gain experience by some actions, like right now I gained experience by recruiting these guys. So whenever you do something which is related to one of your skills, you get some experience. And like here, leadership. Now you see we are on level 4. Here this bar is gonna progress as this number is increasing, and each time that this bar is full with experience, we add 1. So when this bar is full, the 4 becomes a 5, and this line is moving forward. And the closer it comes, the closer it is to the threshold, the less learning rate you get. So when we increase in the level here, we should sooner or later also put another focus point on that particular skill. I pretty much like that leveling system, but it's a bit complex, so you have to get used to it. First visit to Riakulan. Also here we have these important people in the town. And here our relation with all of them is 0. And the better the relationship is, the more troops you can actually recruit in that town. Because, for recruitment you go for these important people, and they have people, or in this case they don't have people to offer to you. Hey Volvolu, how are you doing? Nice to have you in. Great to have you. How are you doing? Yeah, you like it? That's it's a different thing, so completely different to U-Boat, but I might have mentioned it that this is really my long-term favorite game to be played offline, actually. In my Steam library, this is actually the game which has the most hours. So what about there is a tournament going on. So first thing to do is to do, yeah, nice to hear, very nice to hear. So join the tournament. So 2 tournament groups this time. We are in the second tournament group, so let's skip the first round and join the second. So it's 4 pairs fighting against each other, and we are fighting with a Flandian crossbowman. We are yellow.
Come on!
Oh shit. That was going bad that this guy actually died. So this guy is shooting at me. So I'm gonna shoot back. Oh, yeah, he did hit me. At least I got some experience. Yeah, I'm shooting the crossbow. Oh yeah, that guy is not bad. Oh, that was a miss, too bad. And now the other guy is also shooting at me. Okay, I got that one. Maybe I can hide behind the tree, because the next would probably kill me. Alright, we did it. We survived the first round. And we gained quite a bit of experience with the crossbow. Now it's 2 groups of 4 each. We are riding on horseback. Okay, that was not good. That was a good hit. Guy. Okay, gave him 12 hit points. Nice, that's it. And again, gaining experience. So next round, 2 against 2. Oh, fighting on foot. So this is now pretty much depending on so that looks good, because 2 against 1 in this game, it's pretty clear who wins. This is pretty realistic, because 1 against 2, you usually never stand much of a chance. When you're on your own fighting against 2, you can be very good in the game, late game, and still it would be tough. Now we are in the final round. Let's see. The other one is a crossbowman, which is good, because a crossbowman is probably not very experienced in horseback riding and fighting with the spear. Yeah, but the guy is careful keeping up the shield, so I can't hit him. Alright, we got him. So that's good. That's good. First tournament. So if you look at it, you might get the impression that this is a piece of cake, but it actually isn't. It's a bit of a matter of luck, of course. So we get a flag. So the flags give us certain additional perks. Let's give it a save and then look at the flag first. So here, this is a banner. I can equip the banner with me or the other heroes that I'm gonna get, and then when they are commanding a group of soldiers, all these soldiers get this buff. In this case, increased melee damage against mounted troops. Well, I think if I have it for myself, I'm not quite sure if it works on me or only on my troops, and yeah, let's see. Yeah. So, and we got some experience, and that leads to that we can spend, yeah, we actually gained a mate. So this, I didn't mention that. So you get experience in each of these special skills, and all this experience is summed up to overall experience. And whenever you reach a new overall experience level, you get 1 additional focus point to distribute, and every 3 levels you get 1 attribute point. Pretty nice how they thought this over. I like that model, this experience gaining model. Now the big question is where to put that single focus point. Yeah, sooner or later I would like to be good in horseback riding, so let's put that focus point there. And let's see if we can buy a bow. I mean, the javelin is a tremendous weapon because it does enormous damage, but on the other hand you only have these kind of few 3 or 4 or maximum 5 of them. So I prefer fighting with the bow from the horseback. Hey Jeremy! Yeah, great to have you in the stream. The plus 30% party movement speed. Yep, yes. There are a few banners which really make a difference. There are a lot where I say, well, if you have them or not doesn't make much of a difference, but a few like this one, they're really great. You say party speed? I mean, you mean the group speed, right? On Battlefield. Yep, I guess. Or is there a banner which would increase the party speed on the world map? I think not, is it? We have a pickaxe. Now let's check the equipment. Yeah, the Gambazon that I have is much better than all that I found here. Also the shoes. So what about this? Just the same, so my equipment is much better than anything that I just found. Okay, but these have stealth bonus, so let's switch them for our stealth equipment. If we might one day do one of the stealthy missions. Now I think we can sell the rest. 530, 322, 111. So that gives us a bit of money. So 60 bucks will be sufficient to pay our people for something like 2 days. So that's not much. And we have found the pickaxe. I will keep the pickaxe, and sooner or later I will go to the smithy and turn that into raw material, and then we can craft swords from the raw material. This will bring us quite a bit of money later in the game, but not yet now. Yeah, but there is no bow, and maybe my proficiency in bows is not good enough for just most of the bows. But there are bows which you can shoot with almost no proficiency. But usually you can't buy them with traders, but you could just loot them. So here we are. What did we actually get from the tournament? What was the tournament prize? Just didn't recognize that. We didn't get any prize for winning the tournament. Is this possible? Oh yeah, of course, yeah. We got that banner, yeah. We got the banner. No. Tavern District. Yeah, here you can see what these adventurers actually can and cannot do. And there is these kind of traits here. But I usually try to find people who only have positive traits. By the way, we could check ours. We have the trait of being calculating, our ability to control our emotions for the sake of long-term interests. I still do not 100% understand how this influences gameplay. Maybe if one of you knows more about that. At least since the update, there is certain random events where you can kind of influence what traits you will accumulate over time. But what the effect actually is, I'm not sure. So if anybody of you in the chat knows anything about the effect of having certain traits or having not certain traits, if you know something about that, that would be great. Never found something about that, and I never felt an effect in the gameplay. But that's no surprise, because there is so many influences and the whole model of the game is so complex, so pretty hard to figure out one single influence. Here we are. Yeah, we have the prisoners. Let's ransom the prisoners. And this gives us another 20 bucks. And 1 skill point in roguery. Hi, Papa Hars. Nice to have you in the chat. Hope you're fine. How are you doing? Persistent Bannerlord. Is this a mod? Yeah, okay. No, I haven't. Actually, to be honest, there are games which are great with mods, but this game here is so complex, and I never dare to install any mod onto Bannerlord, because yeah, you play this game over months, and my fear always is that just any mod might influence this very fragile balance of the game, because I think the game is wonderfully balanced for all its complexity. And my fear being, if I install mods, that they would actually crush the balancing of the game. But could you briefly describe what that mod actually does, that persistent Bannerlord mod? I mean, you say online mod. Do you mean it like that? That this makes the game being playable online? I don't know, can't imagine. Okay, that sounds interesting. So then you can play it with your friends, or is it like that other players are representing other nobles or something? Yeah, I'm gonna check that out later. Maybe I'm gonna watch a YouTube video or something. That sounds very interesting. So would I like to recruit troops? Not at the moment. Anything to trade? What about the food at the moment? We have sufficient food for 5 days. What would be nice to have a horse? But they are so terribly expensive that at the moment just don't want to buy a horse. Okay, the interesting thing is that the inventory capacity has been increasing. This is probably because the troops can also carry stuff. Yeah, okay, amazing. Never heard about that. Never heard about that, Papa Horse. That sounds pretty interesting. Although I could imagine that a complex game like this, it might be a bit tricky to play it with others online. Yeah, because you have to have guys who love this game just as much as you do, because you have to spend hours and hours before things actually start to move. Yeah, I thought there is actually an official online part of the game, but I thought that it was pretty dead. Nobody was playing it anymore when I last tried it. But I think this is not what you were talking about. This is something different then. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Gonna check that out. Yeah, I haven't been on these native online servers. But I thought that they were pretty much dead and nobody did it. But maybe I'm completely not up to date what's going on in terms of online gameplay with Bannerlord. Quite interesting what you say. So we could pick up a bit more food. Let's do that. There is no food here. Okay, amazing. They have no food in that town. So anything that might be worthwhile to get it to another town. Yeah, well, let's not do trade at the moment. I'm a bit afraid that it's premature and I might invest a lot of money and don't get it back. A horse would be nice. Let's go for one of these villages which do breed horses. Yeah, now that we are here, let's check that village. Ooh, yeah, we can get riders here, but they cost 200 each, and at the moment we just can't afford that. Sorry, guys. But good to know. By the way, Karsten of Usang needs help with brigands. At the moment I would not dare to pick up a job like that. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm gonna check that out. I'm not quite sure whether it works for me because of, yeah, timing wise, I'm not quite sure. Oh, that's not good. Deserters. They are going with, I don't know how fast they are going, but they're definitely too strong for me to tackle them. Yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna check that out, Papa. Okay, here we get some horses. Now question which horse to pick up. Yeah, the riding horses, they're just so expensive. So let's first pick up one sumptuous horse. For 85 bucks. So that we can do a bit of trading maybe. And now hope that we get away from these deserters. Oh god. They are fast. They are moving with the speed of 1.8 and we are moving with the speed of 1.9. We just barely get away. The deserters are too well equipped as that we could handle it with our very basic soldiers that we have at the moment. I would put down a note. Persistent Bannerlord is the name. Gonna check that. Sounds very interesting. Okay, no tournament going on. Terran district. Then could recruit troops, but at the moment I would be careful getting more troops. And what do we trade? Get some more food for the guys. Okay, now that we have visited the town of Sargoth, we get this information here. Like, for example, if we buy salt for 73, we could sell it at Sargoth for 106. So that would give us some earnings. Beer, so they say. If we buy the beer here for this insanely high price, we can sell it for an even insanely higher price at Jaculan. Let's buy 1 barrel of beer. Let's take the risk. Hey, Papa Haras, thank you very much for the follow. That's very much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Or, well, it's, yeah, follow it would be called... I'm getting a bit confused, but you're all on Twitch. Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. So we bought 1 barrel of beer, and let's get some salt. Let's see. Let's just hope that we don't run bankrupt here with that. Let's go. So luckily the deserters are moving in the other direction. And yeah, we have to pay our soldiers, and that slowly eats up our money. So here we are. Let's see what we can trade here. Sell the beer. Okay. That's good. That's a good price. We bought it for 75. And we gained a skill point in trading. Of course, that was a good business. What about the beer? I think it was not. Let's see if we can sell it at Sargoth for that price. Somebody delivered beer before I arrived, and so the price dropped to there. That's the risk. Oh, the linen is expensive. threads. They are just too expensive. Raw silk. Come on, let's go for Sargot. Maybe on the way we can find some robbers. Yeah, some looters. Let's go for them. But maybe they are faster than we are. Might be tricky to catch up with them. We are moving with a speed of 4 and they are still too far away. Ah, okay, now they have changed course and we are slightly faster than them. Alright, let me check something. I'll be back in a minute. AFK. Alright, back again. I didn't save. I forgot to save before that fight, but well, I just didn't want to reload anyway in this campaign. So let's see. Alright, sorry guys. Here I am back again. So let's continue. So this time we have one crossbow archer. Okay, a lot of pikemen, so they have these.
Form a wall!
Okay. Got quite some damage. That was a hit, but not much damage. I killed the guy. Yeah, that was not good. I should have avoided that contact and hurled the javelin from further afar. And that was it. Alright guys, now crossbow guy is firing.
Kill them all!
Okay, I think he was already dead before I did hit him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Might be that one died. Let's see. Yeah. I again got some experience in javelin riding and sword fighting. 2 of the recruits are gonna level up. 1 died. Few prisoners. No, I have leveled up. One guy became a footman and one guy became a crossbowman. And some stuff. Let's get it. The loot. Now let's see whether we can sell the beer for a bit more decent price there. Okay, that's a bit weird. Okay, the guys did drink the beer. Yeah, they just did drink the beer, so that was pretty expensive. They did drink it on the way. That's a good joke. So what do we have here? Something to protect our head. It's very basic, but better than nothing. And here we do have some decent shoes.